Hello and welcome to Hold the Line Sports, where we do the work so you don't have to. Just me and Will again today. If you'll notice, my abode is different. I have a different feng shui to my settings. I didn't tell you this, Will. I'm actually in my room. I got it. I got into my room this time.
Nice.
So last time when I was visiting family, I was relegated to my sister's room. Don't ask me how or why that happened. I had the better room, like growing up. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I'm back in my dojo, back in my safe space, and it feels good. I'm here for the next few days, and then I will be traveling to nowhere other than Las Vegas, Nevada. I've got a new venture starting out there, so we'll have to figure out. We'll probably talk about this at the end, but the cadence for these shows might be a little bit different going forward. We'll have to figure out what that looks like because I will be 3 time zones away, not just one. So coordination will be a little bit different. How is everything going on your end, Will?
Good. I mean, you know, the Braves finally won a game.
No,
So,
that was
and
cool.
then that was a fun experience. I actually
Yeah.
watched that one for some reason. Don't know why I decided to turn it on, even though I said basically I'm not watching another game. But it couldn't really get worse as a Braves fan last week.
Nope.
So we
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 had
won
nothing
this
left to
week.
lose.
Won this first game, so we're good.
Yeah, me and my dad watched it yesterday. I was like about to tell him like let's watch anything else, but we hadn't watched a Braves game together in a while, so I was like, you know what? Let's just for old time's sake. And then they happen to win this one, so now like there's like this like small amount of hope inside because they hit really well. Like the bats like look pretty good.
hmm
Ronald looks great, by the way. Like the
Oh
opposite
yeah.
field power, he's just like that. The swing the other way looks incredible. So that's one thing I am enjoying watching. I'm enjoying watching almost no other aspect of Braves baseball, but that has been fun to see.
Ronald just randomly has like one AB though, like every like 6 or 7 ABs where he looks like lost.
I
Like he goes
think
down in 3 pitches.
I think he has like he's not like a guess hitter, but he's like this is what I'm looking for, and if he doesn't get it, it's like a bad at bat. But it's like the same. It's the whole thing is like if you have 4 of these at bats, and like I have the same plan 4 times, and I'm right one of those 4 times, but I hit a home run. Like I had a pretty good day, because
Yeah.
baseball's hard. I think he has like an idea of like what he's looking for, and if he doesn't get it, he's not like super adjustable. 'Cause you'll watch him hit. Most of the time when he's hitting, he's like on time. Like there's not a lot of like how like Ozzy has a lot of like we're reaching out and like poking and like but like Ronald doesn't do that. Like Ronald has like his swing and he very rarely like exits that swing. So it just tells me that he's looking for something specific. Miguel Cabrera was kind of the same way. They just look for this, and if they don't get it, it'll be bad, but they're going to put their A swing on it. What
Yeah.
do you have planned for us today? This one, so we're going to have be a shorter episode, I think, like a 30 to 45 minute.
Yeah. Shorter episode today. Got a lot of stuff going on in the personal life for Cam, so got to
Yeah, I
get
got
him back to
family.
his.
Family's visiting.
Yeah.
Everyone's come to see me off. They're gonna. I don't know why everyone's so excited about this, but like,
Yeah. Can't.
grandparents or grandma's here, uncle's here. Everyone's here. Everyone's here to
They're
celebrate.
seeing Cam off, and I'm getting him off. Let's go.
All
Um,
right. There's nothing better.
we can go into got another random stat. This one
Okay.
this one's a doozy. I don't know if it's gonna top any of the other ones, but
The last
okay.
week's was crazy, so I don't know.
Yeah, Don Mattingly, okay, holds the record for most grand slams in a season with 6.
Okay.
He never hit a grand slam in any other year. So he had 6 grand slams in one year and never hit another one.
Oh my gosh. That's a career year. Even if like the counting stats at the end aren't that great, like you can look back at that. You hit 6 of those things.
Yeah.
Was it? I was like Jeter or someone didn't hit one for like however long in their career. Like it took like 10 years to hit a home, like to hit a grand slam. I forgot who it was, but there was a guy
It
that
was
it took.
I remember Freddie took a while and
Yeah,
then he hit like 2 in 3 days.
yeah. It was like some guys don't like ever hit them. It takes like 10 years. He got 6 in 1 year.
Yeah, and then never hit another one.
What
Yeah,
a year
it's
though.
wild. Yeah, but we can move
Okay,
on into our
that's a
first
zinger.
segment today. Yeah,
All right.
move on to our first segment today. We did outfielders last week, so this week is 3 infielders you think are going to be moved at the deadline. Cam, who was your first guy?
I think the one that probably most people are talking about, thinking about, I mean, this going back to like the beginning of the year, is Bo Bichette. I mean, you're talking about contract negotiations and what does the extension look like, and like Vladdy got his, what is the future for Bo seemed kind of uncertain even going into this year, and they're relatively competitive this year, but kind of leaning more towards selling, um, as they. And it's not. It's either they're either going to sell or they're going to hold. The Blue Jays, I mean, they're either going to sell or they're going to hold. It's going to be one of those. I think they're going to lean more towards if there was a time to ship Bo out. I mean, this would be probably as close either this time last year or this year is like the perfect time because you're going to get a decent amount for him. So I kind of view Bo as like the one that probably everyone's talking about, and I kind of share the same sentiment. I think it's going to be tough to keep both Vlad and Bo, and Vlad's future's kind of secure a little bit more so. So I'm going to go with Bo.
Yeah, I the only thing I could see them getting stopped would be the fact that I think they're currently like in a wild card spot. I don't know if it'll be that way for a while, but they're currently in a wild card spot. So that's the only thing I could see
Yeah,
hindering them from moving off Bo.
I just
My yeah,
the division's tough, and just looking at how everyone's playing, um, the Orioles low key are starting to play better.
yeah,
The Yankees are diabolical. The Rays are going to be competitive, and the Red Sox, for as young as they are, they're still dangerous. I just think it might be one of those things where they beat up on each other the whole time. And if they beat up on each other, someone loses out, and most likely all those other teams are going to miss out on a wild card spot.
yeah. I think so too. My first one, I think it's actually probably the most likely to get moved out of anyone that we're going to mention today. Is a guy on the Orioles who they're starting to play better is Ryan O'Hearn. He is mashing baseballs right now. He's hitting like
More on him later.
320, has like 10 bombs. It's absolutely wild that I mean like he's always been a really good baseball player, but he's never been this good.
Yeah.
And
But
I
he's
mean
always been like a platoon guy where it's like he
yeah,
hits against the righties and then he works in with like Mountcastle and Mountcastle hits the lefties. He's kind of hitting both now. I mean, they want him in the lineup. They want him in the lineup.
oh yeah, I was honestly shocked. I was shocked when I saw it. I was like, oh god, like 320, 10 bombs. That's like all-star level stuff. I didn't
Yeah,
expect Ryan O'Hearn to be the guy that's probably going to be an all-star for the Orioles because I mean every team has to have one, and arguably everyone else he's been their best player easily.
I'd say he's the most deserving, I think.
Yeah, that was not on my bingo card this
Not at the
year.
beginning of the year, no.
No. Who's your second, Kim?
But I think my favorite out of the bunch is I'm high on this guy every year because I love the guys where I know exactly what I'm gonna get, like going into the year. This fella's going to hit somewhere between 220 and 240, and he's gonna hit me 30 to 35 home runs. And if I'm a guy or if I'm a team that's like buying or looking for, I'm a contender, I need another piece, Eugenio Suarez is a guy that I'm looking at. I don't think the D-backs were planning on having a down year. Their window seemed very open to me, and I had them pegged for like they're going to be one of the top, two teams in the NL West, and they're looking like the fourth best team right now. I don't know if it's going to stay like that, but none of those other three teams ahead of them have stopped being competitive. I can tell you that. The Giants just got done whooping up on the Braves, so they look fine still. Um,
Yeah.
Padres had a little bit of a rut, but that's a super talented team, and the Dodgers are the Dodgers. The only thing hindering them is their potential bolt or rotation problems with injury concerns. But they're all going to be competitive, and the NL West is a super tough division to have a slow start in, and they're having one. So I'm thinking maybe, I mean, they probably don't sell everyone, but the ones that they can get like a really good return for, I think they'll look at shipping them. And I think Eugenio Suarez is a really good candidate. And I think he would help. I think he would help a contender a lot. Put him fifth, sixth in the lineup, and he's going to strike out. He's going to have his O for days, but he's going to RBI. He's going to produce, and he's going to hit home runs. So he's going to help a lineup, and I think he'll help a contending lineup later on. I'm like not 100%. I'm like 80% positive he gets traded.
for sure. I think out of all the ones that are like firmly on the market, I think he's the best third baseman on the market for sure. Um,
Absolutely.
and there's a lot of teams that need that. So I think any team would be lucky to have a guy like that that just goes in their lineup hitting five,
Yeah.
six, and
He's just
hits
steady.
40
He's steady
bombs.
defensively. He's steady offensively. Like it's just a guy that you know exactly what you're going to get. Is he like an all-star? Like probably not most years, but is he a solid run producer and a solid baseball player every year? Yeah, he ends up being one every single year. He always ends
Oh
up on a fantasy team, and that's enough for me. Someone always wants him on a
yeah.
fantasy team because he helps them.
My next one, and for some reason he's like my favorite one that I'm going to talk about today. It's Ryan McMahon because I think the Rockies should have moved off him a long time ago. They're notorious for holding their players way too long. But also, I think, he's struggling a little bit at the plate, so a team can get him for pretty cheap and still probably get at least a average hitter and then a platinum glove level defender at third base.
Yeah.
Um, if he was hitting this year, I'd say he's the best third baseman on the market, but he hasn't. So that's why I still go Eugenio. But I think with how cheap he's going to be, because like he's getting up there in age, yes, and he's not really producing right now. So who's actually going to go and pay the Rockies like a anything for him? The Rockies just probably want his salary off the books because they're the worst team ever. Um,
It's like
so
literally.
yeah, I think he will be moved. Like I legit told Cam earlier, if he was a shortstop, I want the Braves to go get him because he's gonna cost next to nothing and probably gonna be at least a serviceable player for you. Um, so I think he'll get moved this year.
The other, I think he's also kind of like a change of scenery candidate.
Hmm.
Um, it's like hard for me to say that sometimes because if you're leaving like Coors Field, like there's almost always offensive regression for a guy that plays at Coors Field and then leaves it. But in this case, with the team he's currently on, I feel like almost everyone that has like had 2 to 6 years in that organization is like a change of scenery candidate and
Yeah,
would probably be better off playing somewhere else. And I think it'd be good to see like what does he look like with finally playing like with a contender? Because he's been steady for
playing
them. Like,
meaningful baseball.
yeah, like playing meaningful baseball towards the back half of the year. Like, I don't know how many times he's been able to say that. Like maybe one of
Never, I
those
don't think.
years. I don't know if he's ever been able to say that. So I think that
The
would be fun too.
Rockies,
Because I've always
the
liked
Rockies
him.
weren't. Yeah, the Rockies weren't good. Like weren't have never been good after Nolan Arenado, and basically he was his replacement. I mean, I think he played a little second before Arenado was there,
Yeah.
like gone. But like it's been like I think like 17, 18 since the since the Rockies have
I
made
was gonna say
made the
I think it's
playoffs.
18. I think it's 18.
Yeah, they're cooked.
So no, I think it'd be good for him. I'd like to see him play for a contender.
I would too. I would too. Who's your
Um,
third
all
guy, Cam?
all right, my last one. I was kind of in between two of them, and they're from the same team. You might do the other one. Um, but I'm gonna go with Yandy Diaz from the Rays. I think he's been a guy that's kind of like he's been in like trade talks a little bit throughout the course of the years. A very like first baseman version of Eugenio Suarez, I think, without the power, but in terms of like the stable productivity, like from a first baseman, it's not like my favorite because he's not going to hit. I mean, he's got like 9 this year, but he's not going to hit like 30 home runs. And I like my first baseman to have a little bit more power, but he is a steady he gives good ABs. Like they're good at bats. He'll work counts. He had like 1 or 2 years where he was like a 300 hitter. I haven't really seen that lately. So he's kind of fallen off from a productivity standpoint, but he's super steady. So I think Yandy Diaz is probably, and he's in again, it's the AL East where it's like I feel like right now, if you're not the Yankees, you're on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoff picture. And the Rays are, I mean, they're competing, but the Blue Jays are competing. The Red Sox, for all their problems, they're all like competing and they're all kind of in there. There are 3 teams in the AL Central that I think are all better than those teams. And the AL West is also pretty diabolical. It's a little top heavy, but
Yeah.
um, I just think it's going to be tough for 2 of those teams are they're going to be out, or probably 3 of them. There might only be one other AL East team that gets in. So I think, and the Rays are I don't want to call them sellers, but they are not
Cheap.
afraid to, yeah, yeah, yeah. So like they're not afraid to deal away whoever their most expensive player is towards the back half of the year. They will do that, and I think Yandy is probably one of their top two most expensive players. If they're not in a playoff hunt, he's going to be the one to go. So for those reasons, I'm pretty sure. I think there's two guys that go for the Rays, but I think Yandy's one of them.
Yeah. I'm going to give an honorable mention to Yohan Moncada, but I'm going to talk about the other guy Cam mentioned is Brandon Lau.
Yeah,
To me, he is the second base version of Eugenio Suarez,
yeah,
um, and the left-handed version, which is makes him a little bit more valuable because you're getting 30 plus home run pop and a lefty bat in the middle infield. That's tough to come by. So,
for sure.
and he is a good fielder as well. I've seen a lot of potential him go. I don't know if they do in division, but I've seen him go into the Yankees, getting them another lefty bat. He'd probably kill it in Yankee Stadium because he's going to pull a lot of home runs. But I think he'll go somewhere because a lot of teams would love a 30 plus home run guy at second base. Nonetheless, even in involve him being a lefty, so a lefty bat with 30 plus home run potential. A
Shoot,
lot of people want that.
dude, I think the Yankees would be perfect for him because they're trying out Dagum Goldschmidt at second base right now. I
Yeah,
mean, they've got like Jazz playing third. I think they've seen enough of DJ. I think LeMahieu's kind of he hasn't been good for a
yeah,
few
he's gone.
years. So they're trying out Goldie at second because they want to get Rice in the lineup. So then the DH spot open. But if they can just plug in low, I feel like that answers all of the question marks that they would have going into the back half of the year. Because the other
Oh
stuff's
yeah,
been good, like bullpen's been fine. Their starting pitching they've got three like really good starting pitchers. It's just the lineup has been somewhat inconsistent. Like they'd be on fire and then they kind of like go into a rut and then they get hot again. I think if you have a stabilizing force like that, I think that really helps the lineup back half of the year.
yeah. I completely agree. I don't know what you do when Stanton comes back, if he comes back. That's
He's
that's that's
always,
also a thing too.
you just have that risk every year with him. When he's in the lineup,
Yeah,
he's dangerous, but he misses 30 games a year. I mean, it happens no matter what. Just doesn't have a way to
and
stay healthy.
this one was like big too. Like there was a chance he doesn't play baseball again, so you
Yeah.
don't know if he's going to come back.
Yeah, I
So
don't think it's
you
worth
kind of
the
got to make
risk to wait and
yeah,
see. I think you got to make a move.
you got to make a move. Yeah. So we can move on from that one. This one's a little fun question for you. Okay. So we got three options.
Okay.
What would be a worse team to be a fan of?
Okay. Mm,
Option one,
yeah.
and you'll probably see where I'm going with this.
Uh-huh.
Option one is a historically bad team of that year. Option two
Just 1 year.
is a team just or like, but like they've had, they're known for being very bad,
Okay.
but not this bad, and they're having a historic bad year.
Okay. I know who we're talking about.
Yeah. A team that you knew had issues going into the year, but you thought could do some damage, um, but they have then collapsed and been a bottom five team. Or option three, and number two was not really a World Series contender, but you thought they could at least do some damage. Number three is a team that was seen as a World Series contender that has not been able to do anything all year and has basically fallen apart.
That's the worst one. That's the worst
That's the
one.
worst one.
That's the worst one. Absolutely. That's the worst one.
I mean, I feel like you can see where I'm going with that one. Number one was the
The
Rockies,
Rockies.
obviously.
And it's like, okay, so like if I'm a Rockies fan, I'm kind of used to it. Maybe not like this bad used to it, but it's like, okay, this has happened before. I can deal with it. It's gonna happen. It'll probably happen again in a few years, right? But I'm a Rockies fan and I know what I'm getting into. Like I can find solace in that with the expectation of what because go to our like preseason projections. Who had the Rockies out of the basement in the NL West? Like who?
No,
No one, right? So it's like they
no
know
one.
if you're a good fan, like you're not going to be good.
Fair. Who did you think number 2 was?
Um, it's tough to say. There's a few teams that are kind of like on that
I was
radar.
basing it I think there's 2 teams that I was looking at, but there was it's mainly based off one that has because they have legitimately been a bottom 5 team.
Because I'm assuming the last one's the Braves, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so who was like supposed to do damage but has kind of sucked? The Rangers?
They were a team, but it's not them
All right,
because they haven't been like they've been like
yeah, they're
low
mid.
like
They're mid.
20s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
they haven't been
underperforming, but
bottom
they're not
5.
bottom five. Okay, so who are like? All right, hold on. Who's legit bottom five?
We talked about a player from them earlier, and we'll
The
probably talk
Orioles.
about a player
The
from them
Orioles.
later.
The
Yes.
Orioles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just needed to look at a few of them. Like, yeah, it's the Orioles for sure. That's bad. That one's
Yeah.
bad too. And I would have like if it was between the first like those first two, that one's definitely because I was one of the ones that was high on the Orioles. I had them winning the freaking division, and because it's like if you perform the way they did last year, okay, well they were all freaking 22 years old, right? It's like one of the
Yeah.
youngest teams in baseball. Okay, and the window opened. Well, normally when the window opens for that first time, it doesn't freaking shut the very next year. Like normally that thing stays open for a little bit. So the fact that it's
Yeah.
like there's so many question marks now. Like, is it coaching? Are the players, did they overperform last year? Is it one of those things where now they realize they're supposed to be good, so like the pressure's on and they're pressing? Like, what does that look like? I don't know. What is that?
At least coming into the year, everyone knew the Orioles pitching was an issue.
For sure.
Like, like no one came in saying, "Yeah, the Orioles are gonna have a good rotation." Everyone knew that it was a problem. So that was kind of, but we didn't expect the offense not to hit. But everyone knew that it was gonna be tough for them to win games because of their pitching.
Yeah. My thing was they're gonna hit enough to stay in the lead, and the bullpen was good enough to keep a
Yeah,
4 to 5 run lead because that's how much they would be winning most of the time because they were supposed to have a super gifted offense.
yeah. So that one was just a little fun question to go
Yeah,
over.
but no, the answer is
I
the
thought of that
Braves.
one.
The answer is the Braves. Whatever situation you want to call it, the Braves is the worst. Th- this is the worst year I remember like being a part of. This is the worst I have felt, I think. I think this is the worst I have felt because like go back to like 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, we were supposed to be bad, right? Like we knew the window
Yeah,
closed, like we a bunch of young guys, we're starting freaking Adolis's brother at third base and Jace Peterson, and I knew like we're gonna be awful. But I knew we were gonna be awful. I had no inkling that we would be awful this year. I was like, I think you had him in the freaking World Series.
yeah, probably.
And
I think it was either them or the other disappointing team, the Diamondbacks.
yeah, I know that's another one. That is another one. They're still better
But
than us though. The Diamondbacks they're just mid. It's like the Rangers, they're
they
just
just
mid.
swept
The
us.
Diamondbacks, they're just mid. Like we suck. We're a bad baseball team.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever felt worse. Potentially in 21, like a few days after Ronald Acuna tore his ACL,
For different reasons.
because we had just made the CS the past year,
Yeah,
and then we were like 10 games under 500, and our star player just was out for the year.
yeah.
So I was like, that was I thought we were cooked then too. But
That one year we
then
ended up not
at
being
that
cooked.
point, I had full faith in uh AA. I don't right now.
I can't.
But and I had faith in Brian Snicker.
Can we?
I don't right now.
I think there's a part of him that's lost the locker room. Like I
He
think he's lost the locker
I
room.
think he has as well.
Um,
I think the AJ Smith Solver stuff was ridiculous.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people have seen that and been like, yeah, he like when Strider has to go up and say, "Hey,
He
something's wrong."
Someone clearly was not looking out for their guy, and that is
Yeah,
inexcusable. It's like even and it goes on Snit. Like even if it's probably Krant's job to see it, right? Like it's probably on Krantz to see it because that's his freaking guy on the mound. But if Brian doesn't say anything, then it's Brian's fault because Brian's in freaking charge. So someone's got to answer for something like that. That's a kid that you just put it like it just put him at unnecessary risk. And now he's done
And he
for the
tore his
next
UCL. Yeah.
365 days minimum. It's asinine. I cannot believe that. And I think we spiraled after that. I mean, it was already like bad, but like go to the games following that. We spiraled after that. I mean, like six of the
Yeah.
next seven games we lost.
I mean, I think we lost like 14 to 17.
Cannot be
So
excused.
like recently,
Cannot be
yeah,
excused. That is
five straight one-run games.
someone's got to pay. Someone has to answer for this. Someone has to do it. I don't know
Yeah,
who it is. I think it's Brian. But Krantz can go too because I cannot explain to you how upset I was with how that whole thing transpired.
yeah. I don't think Snicker will be fired. I think he's just genuinely going to retire. I think a change of scenery is I think they're going to tell him, "Hey, retire or you're done," and he's going to be like, "Okay, I've been here for 40 years. Let's just go ahead and call it a
And
career."
I'm going to
I
appreciate
think that's what's going to
I'm,
end up
I'm going to
happening.
appreciate everything that he did for the
Oh
organization.
yeah,
Like he's going to go down as one of my favorite managers, but like this is still a business and you can tell as like someone that played, like you can tell when a coach doesn't have his guys. When a coach doesn't have a handle on the locker room, you can see it. And he does not
Uh,
have that.
I mean, yeah, like even like to bring it back to college football, Dan Mullen is a great head coach. He lost the locker room at Florida, so we had to
He
get
had
him.
to go.
Even though he could be an SEC coach any day of the
Sure.
week, but he lost the locker room,
And
so we had to
it's
get him.
not, what people don't understand, it's not like that doesn't mean you're a bad manager or a bad coach. It's just, if you ever have like a leadership job, like if you're ever like in charge, there is like this feeling of the culture that there's like a shift and you can't control it and you don't know when it's going to happen, but nothing good lasts forever. Like that's like an old adage, like as old as time. Nothing good will last forever. So these guys are all fantastic and they're great managers. That's why they're professionals at what they do. But there comes a time for every single one of them where a change in the hand that is in charge has to change. It is time.
Yeah,
I think it is time.
it sadly is, and I don't know who we're gonna go get if we go get someone, but we'll just have to see. And I the jury is still in on AA, but we'll see halfway through the year
Can you
on if he's
explain
still in.
the Kimbrel? Can you?
I mean, he like yes, he looked good. I understand like what it is because I mean like we needed a reliever basically up for the next game, so we had to, and he was out of options, so we had to DFA him, which sucks because it puts him on waivers, and he was kind of expendable because he hadn't been with the roster, and let's not act like he was facing an elite offense and he was throwing about 91, 92. So I don't agree with it, but I can see the justification. That's what it is. I don't personally agree with it. Um, I think it should have been like a Montero, a De Los Santos, something like that goes down. I don't know if they're out of options as well. I just know Montero we gave like $3 million to, so we're kind of like dying on the hill, which sucks. But sometimes you just got to cut your losses.
That was my. I understand like the logistics of you needing to have an arm, and I just feel like with as bad as our bullpen, like as bad as they are, there had to be someone else that had less success that we could have done that to instead. Like, let's
Yeah,
give Kimbrel, who has high leverage success, like a history of it. Maybe not the last couple of years, but he was throwing well in the minors. Like he
he
was throwing
was.
fine. So it's like the other part is that if he's hot, he's hot. That doesn't just not translate. That's why they call up minor leaguers when they're doing well, not when they suck. Like that's when it happens, right? So we get a run of however many games where Kimbrel's feeling good. Yeah, if he blows up after like the 12th or 15th appearance, fine, we can address it then. But if he's still throwing good and seeing success, why not run with that for the next 12 to 20 games, however long that time period is. And then we DFA someone who has seen way less success because you could just go down the freaking list of bullpen guys and land on one, and you're probably going to be right saying he sucks right now, and then just do that with him, and let's see what Kimbrel does. I'm tired
Yeah.
of seeing the same
Yeah.
people blow the same situations. And then we bring up a guy who does fine in a situation. Is it high? Like, it wasn't the highest of leverage. Like, I kind of get it, but like, it's a decent spot and he did well. One of the few guys, I think the game was blown later on that day anyways by someone
By
else.
Pierce Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? Like, I don't know, man. He did fine. The
Yeah.
guy that came in
It was
after him blew
rough.
the game, and we DFA Kimbrel.
Yeah. I don't agree with it, but I can just see the logistics of
I
it.
can see the logistics
But
knowing that a move like that has to happen. But we had 9 bullpen arms to choose from. We've got a team
yeah,
ERA in like the fives.
I don't know. Rysel looked dialed yesterday. We'll see how it
Yeah,
goes.
when it's crazy when he's not in a save situation how much better of a pitcher he looks.
Maybe Dylan Lee's the answer now. He came
He
in and
blew a
closed out the
save
ninth.
too. I think he's blown 2 of them. It
Yes,
doesn't it
but
doesn't matter.
not as
It
many.
doesn't. He's had less opportunities to do so. Like proportionately, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
he's the same person.
probably. We'll just have to see. But we can move on to a guy that I was dying to talk about. I'm even going to pull something up for us. This guy right here.
Hey, that boy's
You see
swinging
that Savant
that boy is
page?
swinging the thing.
Everything except chase and whiff, which we knew was going to be low,
That's what he
is
does.
red. But he's hitting 240 because and has a 560 OPS. He went 4 for 4 his last game, so trending up. But the fact that this man, he like expected batting average 343, expected slug 542. So he's getting screwed
Yeah.
by the defense right now. And I mean, I think he's hitting. I don't know how great his launch angle is. I don't think it's great. I think he's hitting too much on the ground for sure. Or like, but he hit like 113 mile per hour line drive the other day. So I think he's seeing the ball well. He's just got to find some holes.
I think the number one thing from what I've seen, he's got what 25 plate appearances here. I've probably seen about 12 to 15 of them because I've been interested. And the ball is pull side a lot. That's fine because that's what he wants to do. I think if he can, he's got like the potential for like that Ryan Howard type of power where he can go left center. And
Oh
when
yeah,
you have
he did
that,
at Florida all the
when you
time.
have that, and you kind of like lean into that, those balls that you pull end up being elevated a little bit more. I really think we're a little bit just too far out in front of the ball right now. I don't think he's like antsy or nervous. I think he's like excited to hit. And so I think he's just like a hair out in front, and I think we're just catching the ball at kind of like a bad angle. So we're getting some, I mean, he hits the ball hard, like
Oh
historically
yeah,
hard. It's like O'Neal Cruz when he first came up and was hitting like, I mean, he's hitting piss missiles. But nothing is in the air, just not nearly enough in the air. I think I saw one ball go to the wall maybe, and everything else is where, you know, it's through the six, through the 4 hole, maybe some line drives up the middle, but just not enough elevation from what I've seen so far.
from what can remember, he had his very first AB was to the track, and then Sunday, I think he had a line drive that was about 114 off the bat that short hop the fence. So he's starting he's but the thing is like these are like they're piss missiles and they're lower like so none of them are moonshots. He's not getting great launch
Yeah.
angle. Um and then obviously like I think in his debut he had like 2 ground balls over like
Yeah,
110.
it was I
So
remember you were texting me that day on the debut, and I think he was like, was he 0 for that game? But he was like everything was hit hard. Or at least like
yeah,
3 of the at
he
bats,
was over,
everything.
but
Yeah.
I think we were like 0 for 5, but like 3 of them were over like 105, and like all 5 of them were
Yeah.
like over
I mean, he's
90.
piecing the thing. It's just, you know, I think directionally we need to get a little bit better. I really think he's just like trying to do damage pull side, and I think he's just working around the ball a little too much. I
Oh
think if
yeah,
we can
he
dial in
has the
on,
pop to go
I
oppo
think when
easily.
you see him, you're going to see it one of these next probably 5 days. He's going to piece one up, and it's going to be center, left center, and it's going to be majestic, and that'll be the start of it. Like he's just got to have that sense of direction. Once he gets that going, I think because he's not early, he's not late. Like his timing is good. I just think he's working around the ball. He's barreling everything. So if we can get to center, left center,
Yeah,
I think he's going to start crushing.
he 100% has the pop to do it. I mean, he went oppo like 5 rows deep in Omaha, the giant ass
Yeah, no,
stadium
he
in
he
college.
can he can, any part of the field I think is on limits for him. I just think he's got to.
Yeah,
You look at the hit spray chart, like there's nothing the other way, and it's not like I don't expect him to go like he's not gonna slap the ball the other way. But what I would expect is driven balls to the left center gap because that tells me he's like on plane on time. Right now he's on time, he's just not on plane. So we're working around and we're working on top too much.
yeah. Honestly, same problem with Matt Olson.
Yeah,
So,
very similar. Very similar. Who hit one dead center yesterday, by the way, an absolute tank.
yeah,
And now he's gonna go and hit 400 in his next 8 games.
he's starting to look better. He is
That's
starting to look
generally the
better. I like,
sign. It's
and
generally the sign.
yeah, even and Austin Riley's starting to look better too. But he's kind of known for like once the weather starts warming up, he's kind of known for like
By
getting
the end of
going.
the year, he ends up right
So
where I expect him to be more times than not. 'Cause if there's a
yeah,
hitter I trust, it's him.
somehow,
I trust him by the end of the year to have it figured out.
yeah. And then we can do another prospect that just got called up, Roman Anthony. I'm very excited to see him play. He in like this year in like 200 ABs in the minors. He hit 290 with 10 home runs. And I don't know if you saw it the other day. He had a grand slam that was about
Yeah,
497 feet.
497.
So he's got some pop, and I think he's going to be very good. And I don't know if he'll make an immediate impact. We saw him yesterday. He went 0 for 4 with a walk and an RBI, and then also made an egregious error. But
Oh man, do
I'll
you
just
see the
I'll chalk that
Hey,
one up.
his
Yeah,
glove
I'll
was
chalk that one
like
up to
at his
jitters.
waist, and that ball was like still on the ground. I'm like, brother, you got to get that thing down. You gave up like
I'll
3 runs
chalk
on
that one
that,
up to
dude.
jitters. Yeah, yeah. I'll chalk that one up to jitters for now. Because I mean, I'd be nervous playing in Fenway in my first time too.
Yo, he was not
So,
even close to
but
catching
if he
that
does it
ball.
again,
Like his glove was
yeah,
nowhere near it. He missed it by a mile.
that one was bad. That was definitely very
Um,
bad.
I think the good thing, not a good thing, because Willier's hurt, right? And so, but because it could be, it's at least the minimum stay, but I think he misses a few extra games. You're gonna get like some run for him here. He's gonna be the everyday right fielder probably, and he'll get, you know, 15-ish games to kind of just see if he can stick in the lineup. So he's going to get some good run and be able to see. And they said he's going to play like they want him to be the everyday guy. So he's going to get plenty of at
Yeah,
bats and plenty of opportunities to work out the jitters and make sure we have that glove facing planet Earth instead of having it like up here, so we can work through some balls on the ground. Um, but I'm excited to. I think offensively, he's going to help them a lot. I hope defensively he doesn't hurt them too much. Like you said, hopefully it's just the first day and we're nervous, but I don't ever remember doing that. And I was a new
in the
outfielder.
field, I'll
I was a
chalk it up
new
to that.
outfielder at the college level, and I never did that.
Yeah, in the field, I'll do it this one time. If it happens again, then we may have an issue. But if
It's a
I had
crazy miss.
40,000 people, if I had 40,000 people, I'd probably
It is
tense
a
up
little different.
at hearing
Yeah,
what
I
I'm going to
had
hear.
like
Probably.
500 watching me, so yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah. But okay, so who do you think now? Say Roman Anthony stays up. Who makes the bigger impact, Jac Caglianone or Roman Anthony?
I think it's Jack. Um, I think now don't get me wrong. Roman is you guys will see before it's all said and done. He can hit. Like this dude can hit. Uh, but the way that Jack looks right now, he is already comfortable. You can tell he's comfortable at the major league level. And like, yeah, like it's with Roman, it's like defensively, you kind of saw it, but I also don't think he looked the jitters were there. I didn't see the jitters from like the first pitch with Jack. Like
He swung at his
he
first
looked
pitch.
like he
Yeah.
was ready to go from the onset. Like this is it's just another baseball game. We're just here to play more baseball. I also think he's on a team that will help him a little bit more. There's a little bit more leadership presence. The Red Sox are young. Like they're super young overall.
You got Bregman
They
at
have
least.
Bregman, but he's hurt, and so like
He's still in
he
the
can help in the
dugout.
clubhouse. I get that.
Yeah.
It's just different when you're not on the field though. Like when you're
Yeah.
on the field, it makes a difference. You want that guy to be out there with you. It's a lot of young guys, and they're a lot more volatile as a team. The only thing the Royals really had as an issue is they don't hit well on the road. Everything else they're very competitive. It may be like average to above average, but they don't hit well on the road. The Red Sox have like a variety of different flaws that they go through as a team because they are so young. And then I think Roman is just going to be a part of those growing pains. They're going to be good in the end, but I see more growing pains early with Roman than I do with Jack.
Yeah. I agree. But I will say, kind of a weird parallel here. Remember the giant, not it wasn't an error, but the giant like blunder Jaron Duran had in center field for the
I
Red
do.
Sox in his
I
rookie
do.
year? Now Roman Anthony does something like that. Jaron Duran's a pretty good
That's like
baseball
is that like
player.
the gauntlet?
So
Is that
maybe
like is that like initiation?
maybe
It's the initiation.
maybe it's something at Fenway. Maybe
Yeah, the
that's
lights
what it
got in his
is.
eyes.
Maybe, but I think Jack will make a bigger impact strictly because the Red Sox offense is already
I don't
pretty
think
good.
that's their problem.
The Royals offense has been
Yeah,
struggling.
like
And I think once he gets his power swing back, Jack's gonna start slamming some
yeah,
balls.
yeah. I think like the hitting for the Royals is kind of like the weak spot. You're not really addressing the Red Sox like biggest issues. Their bullpen is pretty awful. Their rotation has struggled from top to bottom almost. Like guys that you expected to be really good have struggled. So he doesn't like address immediate needs. I just think it's great that he's in the league, and I think he deserves to be in the league because I think he's a Major League Baseball player. But in terms of helping, like directly helping a correlating weakness, the Royals have a question answered with Jack. I think he's going to help their offense tremendously. He lengthens the lineup a lot. Just the threat, like just the
For sure.
power threat.
For sure. We can go into our last thing and get out of here. Our weekly home run. Last week was a pretty bad week from all of
Yep.
us. Cattell Marte from the chat had 2. Cam had Josh Naylor and he had 1. And then me and Nate bringing up the rear was 0 with Mr. Juan Soto and Jac
I'm
Caglianone.
stoked that Naylor had one.
Mr.
I,
Soto.
he looked awful. The day I picked him, or the day after I picked him,
Oh yeah, he
like
looked
0
bad.
for 4 with 3 Ks, and I was like, okay, well this is chopped. Like this is done for.
Yeah, what's funny though is freaking so 2 weeks ago I picked Manny Machado. He hit 1. Then a week after, he hit 4.
Oof, that would have won.
So that would have won by a lot.
I'm just hoping
So yeah,
one of these
yeah,
weeks I get like the guy that hits like 5 or 6, and I just look like a genius. That's what I'm waiting for. I've been winning a few of them, but it's like I
we
win with 2, and it's like it doesn't feel that great.
yeah. What's crazy is there's only been, I think, since we started doing it, there's only been 2 weeks where a player has hit 5 home runs, and this was one of the weeks. Pete Alonso hit 5. So we'll have to see with that one. He led all of MLB, with Manny Machado following right behind. But Cam, who is your pick for this
So
week?
these fellas have been playing better recently. I don't know, like long term prognosis is still probably not very good. I think they still might sell some players, and this guy might be one of them. Um, but I'm going to go with Ryan O'Hearn, swinging the bat well. He's in some advantageous ballparks. He is playing every day. They do not have an off day from now, so that's kind of one of my like stipulations is like there's no off days because this is a volume play right here. But he's swinging the bat well. He's got like 9 home runs leading into this. I can see another couple this week, and I think that should be enough to give me a W. So Ryan O'Hearn's my guy.
Sweet. We'll go to Nate's. He's actually just kind of picking back up off with Chat, the winner of last week, he's going Cattell Marte as well. Which I mean, it's always a good pick. He's playing out of his mind right now. I think he missed like 20 games or something like that, and is still probably
I
going to
was
be the
about to
starting
say
second
that's the
baseman for the
only
All
thing
Star
that
game.
would stop him from being the starting second baseman in the National League. That's like the
Yeah,
only thing is he missed like almost a month. I mean, it was like
I still think he
I think
has it
he's
right
got the
now,
best numbers. I still think he has the best numbers. I mean, even
easily,
so,
easily,
imagine if
even with
yeah,
counting
and that's what I'm
stats.
saying. Like, imagine if he just played all of these games, he'd be in the freaking MVP running.
Yeah, I mean he quietly was like third in MVP last year. No one even
I don't
talks
get
about him.
it. It's like I guess it's like those low marker like mid market teams. You got the guys like slip under
Yeah,
the radar, like Jose Ramirez, they just slip under the radar. This dude has been good for 9 years. Maybe not 9 years, but like 7 years. This dude's been good.
he's always been good. I don't know if he's been MVP level
How old is he
for
now? It's like
all those
31?
years. I think he's probably like
Yeah,
low 30s
yeah,
right
something
now.
like
I
that.
think probably, but yeah, he's mashing baseballs right now. My guy is a guy we mentioned earlier as well. I have Austin Riley. He's kind of known for getting going when the summer hits, and over like his last like 10 or something like that, he's hitting like 320, slugs going up a little bit. So I think if he doesn't hit a bunch of home runs, I'd be disappointed. But I also think he will hit
Yeah,
regardless, because I think he's
he
seeing
looks
the
good.
ball well right now.
He looks good. Put a really good swing on one oppo. It was like a double off the wall or like one off the wall. A really good swing on that ball.
Yeah,
So I think
I mean
hopefully
that's his
hopefully
bread
the
and butter
Braves are just
when he's going
swinging
oppo.
better because they looked good yesterday, and I think he was a big part of that. Even Harris didn't look bad.
When he's going oppo, he looks good. Yeah, I mean honestly, that's every Braves player when they're hitting the ball to the opposite field, they're
It's
gonna hit.
crazy
But
how we could just maybe like try to stick with that
how
approach
it
and
works,
like
yeah.
maybe you hit better like year over year. I don't know. It's weird.
And then it's a different time of stream, so we don't have anything coming
All
in
right, so
from the
we give
chat. But we're gonna go back to the
yeah,
default. It's
Jack
Jack
Caglianone.
Caglianone.
Yeah. Gotta make sure he
He is
has
the
something.
default whenever we don't have an answer from either like Nate or the
Yeah,
chat or anything like that,
that's
Jack
it.
Caglianone
That's
will
your
be your
default.
default
That's
from
fine.
now on.
I think that's fair. He's got the potential. It's not like what if it was like Joey Ortiz or someone that's got like one home run
Yeah.
all year? Yeah.
Nick Allen, who doesn't have a barrel all
No.
year.
God, I hate watching him hit. I mean, it's like it's good because he's like scrappy or whatever, but he's just
It's
not
not
a good
much.
hitter. He's just not. He's just a scrappy, never give up, blue collar, bring his lunch pail to work kind of guy.
Yeah,
All
that's all I
right,
had.
tell the people what they need to do if they haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Make sure you're putting on notifications of when we go live. We'll probably put something out to when, kind of our schedule is starting to change. Follow us on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. YouTube videos usually go out the next morning at 11 after we stream, and Spotify usually goes at about 7 a.m. the next morning, so you can listen to it on your way to work. Put any notifications on, ring the bell, leave some comments on what you guys want us to talk about. And yeah, as always, appreciate you guys
All right,
tuning in.
that is going to do it. We will have to figure out what the new cadence for this is going to be. I am going to be 3 time zones away starting on Sunday. Um, so I'll have to coordinate with you, Will, on what it's going to look like. Maybe we
I'll
go
look
like
at something.
weekends maybe, and it's if we want to do full episodes, we go weekends. If we want to like do some like midday stuff that's like 15 20 minutes to make sure we get some content out, I'll figure out the schedule for that. But I mean, it's not. I'm gonna be working, but like, there's always, you know how our business works. Like, there's
Yeah,
downtime there. So if I can make it fit, then I can make it fit. Otherwise, we'll do something on the weekends. If we want to make sure we get like full content out. Um, I think we'll just have to play it by ear, man. I'll keep it. As soon as I get up
yeah.
there, I'll keep you posted on everything that's going on, what the schedule is going to look like.
I'll throw it in the chat. GBT will
Oh,
give
that's
us a
actually
plan.
so smart. They'll know what to do. Yeah,
AI
they'll know
always
what to
knows.
do. All right, so keep an eye out. We will figure out what our plan of attack is, and we'll make sure we continue to get the content out to you guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will see you next time.
Peace.